Welcome. In this video, I will go over Lab 6 and hopefully it will give you an overview of what this lab is about and so you can be more efficient during the lab time. In this lab, we'll practice binary numbers as well as bit shifting. And this lab has two components. The first part, we'll try to look at how to extract digits from a number using if as well as shift operator. In part B, we'll look at the idea of color degradation that relates to steganography, which will be our next PSA. So in order for you to do this lab, you'll need three files, lab6a.java, lab6b.java, as well as picture.java. The way you get those three files are very similar like what you did in previous labs. In part A, the first thing we'll look at is how to extract digits from a number. Not just any digit, but those digits that will allow us to preserve as much information as possible. So you are given four examples here, from 60 all the way to 252 and numbers in between. What we want to preserve is as much information as possible by looking at just 2 bits from those binary numbers. So the question is, which 2 bits should we preserve and what those 2 bits should be. So you should think about this with your partner. After you two figure out the solution, which is on the next page, you should look at it. I don't want to show you the solution as of now. So you figure out why it is the case. And now the next step in part A is we want to implement the method that will extract the right digits for us. So there is a method that has already been implemented in picture.java. It's called most significant to. And this method takes an integer, returns an integer. What you need to do is you need to look at this method inside picture.java and then try to run lab6a.java to see the results of this method. So you want to know, well, is this what you would have expected? If not, you have to make sure you really understand it, either by talking to a partner or ask for a tutor or TA for help. The last thing you have to do for part A is you want to implement a more general method. It's called most significant n, which means you want to extract the n most significant digits from a number. So this is the prototype of the method. So you need to implement it in picture.java and then make sure your method works well before you move on to part B. Part B of this lab deals with degraded color. So the first thing you have to do is to switch the driver and the navigator. Then the driver will open up lab6b.java as well as picture.java. In picture.java, there's this method called degrade color to 2 bits. You should look at this method and figure out what it does. And then you look at lab6b.java and try to predict what's going to be shown on the screen. Once you figure out your prediction, you can compile lab6b.java and then run it and observe what indeed happens. So it is possible that your prediction is different from what actually happens. It is because degrade color to 2 bits, this method has something that is missing. So you need to fix this method, and possibly with the help of another method that is already given in picture.java. It's called shift 2 bits to 8. Okay, so you need to modify degrade color to 2 bits such that it's going to work. It's going to give you an image that looks better than what is currently shown. Okay. The next thing you need to do for part B of this lab 6 is to look at a more generic method, a more flexible method. It's called shift n bits to 8 instead of just shift 2 bits to 8. So you have to understand what this method does. Once you figure out what this method does, you need to go to Dr. Java uncomment this region in lab6b.java. So you need to uncomment this entire section and run it. As you run this program, you need to keep those questions in mind. Okay? And this is the end of this lab. Then you can continue to do your lab quiz. Okay? Thank you and have fun in the lab.